Big trip coming up, Sandra. President Trump set to leave in just a few hours for a high-stakes visit to Asia that will be capped by a face-to-face meeting with China's President Xi Jinping, with the two expected to talk trade, fentanyl, and a whole lot more. Listen here.
They are paying right now a 20% tariff because of fentanyl. The first question I'm going to be asking them about is fentanyl. They want to put it on the list. It's on the list. It's one of the things we're talking about, and I'm putting it right at the front of the list. So they pay a very big penalty for doing that, and I don't think they want to be doing it.
Let's bring in Michael Pillsbury, Senior Fellow for China Strategy at the Heritage Foundation and a Fox News contributor. In addition to fentanyl, Michael, a lot on the agenda: trade, soybeans, China buying Russian oil, limits on nuclear weapons, and, of course, trying to find an end to the war in Ukraine. The president sounding optimistic. Listen here.
I think we're going to come out very well, and everyone's going to be very happy.
He says he thinks he's going to come out very well and everybody's going to be happy. Do you think that's possible?
Yes, I do think it's possible, John. I think the president has a lot of experience with Xi Jinping. By my count, this will be his 6th meeting of an average of 3 hours each in the past. Their personal rapport continues. So they tend to rise above the specifics and then focus on their personal relationship. Everybody knows what you just listed, John, the big 6 issues. Fentanyl first. We need something like the Chinese joint investigation of the money laundering rings in Mexico and Canada. Something like that would be a breakthrough. Everybody knows about the soybeans. A lot of the problems are because of Joe Biden. We had this wonderful 90-page agreement, January 2020. Maybe you were there with me and everybody else when it was signed. It was a really big deal. Then it was not implemented. Biden just dropped it as though he never heard of it. So Trump's got to make up for that. The Chinese have been very cagey in what they've been doing with ring magnets and some other pressure they have on us. So as you say, this is a high drama meeting. I expect it will go the full 3 hours. So stay tuned, right?
Yeah, well, as you point out, there's some points of tension here, which is why the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent went over early to sort of grease the skids, if you will. Here's what he said about that.
President Trump has great regard for Party Chair Xi. They're in frequent contact, and it would be a shame to waste their first in-person meeting during President Trump's 2nd term, trying to get past some problems rather than moving towards more constructive dialogue between the U.S. and China.
So he's going to soften up the battlefield, if you will. Do you think that will pave the way for something to actually get done?
No, John, I don't think the Chinese like dealing with secretaries of the Treasury or Commerce and UTR. They like to deal directly with President Trump. If they're going to make a concession, it's going to come out of the mouth of Xi Jinping directly to Trump to get credit. The teams that Scott Bessent's been in charge of, they went to Madrid, Stockholm, London, Geneva, never really got a written agreement. So they like to do face-to-face meetings with the president, and so does President Trump. I think he wants to see his friend and get some kind of a deal during that 3-hour negotiation session.
So you said he wants to see his friend, which brings me to this point. Trump and Xi had a pretty good relationship in the early going of his administration. But I remember, because I was the White House correspondent at the time, covering the president, it came to a point where President Trump said he didn't even want to talk to Xi, that he's not very happy with him. So where does that relationship really stand right now?
Well, that was COVID. He felt betrayed over COVID. The Chinese had their own passengers going internationally, but criticized him for cutting down American air traffic. That doesn't affect the summit coming up next week. I think the main thing is, could there be a surprise? Xi Jinping could be very helpful, for example, if President Trump wants to meet the leader of North Korea while he's in South Korea. It's only a couple hundred miles. They could find a place. That'd be a real breakthrough if the Chinese would help us in North Korea. Generally speaking, they have not helped us on North Korea. So that's what I would call a breakthrough, something more than just the usual summit, which both sides are going to say it was successful, but there won't be any specific achievements. I'm hoping for some specific achievements, John.
All right, well, we'll see if it happens. Michael, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.